Sure.
So what you're basically saying is rejecting English is rejecting the Constitution.
I'm saying rejecting a common culture in the United States renders the Constitution meaningless. In the case of the English language, it literally renders it meaningless. You wouldn't be able to read it.
What if someone translated for me?
I'm a little skeptical of that translator. Obviously, I speak multiple languages. I assume people in this room speak multiple languages. I love reading literature in other languages. I like going to certain bakeries and speaking in French or speaking in Italian. That's a wonderful thing. The question is, how do we conduct ourselves as a country? How do we conduct our systems of government? How do we conduct diplomacy? How do we conduct the law? Beyond just the question of language, which is really a symbol of so many other cultural questions, what do we have in common? If we don't have a shared, we've already established that American is not a particular ethnicity. American is not a particular race. There have been so many different races and ethnicities that have been involved in the settling, founding, and establishment of the country. So if it's not a race, if it's not an ethnicity, and if we don't have a shared language, and if we don't have a shared culture, and if we don't have shared food, and if we don't have shared clothing, and if we don't have shared music, and if we don't have shared movies, and if we don't have shared anything, then what makes us American?
The person in the audience, I guess he just wanted to kind of clarify what the speaker was saying. So he asked the question, he says, so are you saying that if I reject English, to learn English, I guess that is, does that mean that he's rejecting the Constitution? And the speaker goes to say, well, if you're rejecting English, you're not going to be able to understand the Constitution. And then the gentleman in the audience said, and he had a good point, he goes, well, I would just have a translator. That was definitely a good point, but to how the speaker responded is also a good point. That when you have a translator, you're entrusting that the translator is translating everything exactly how it's read so that you can interpret it. And the translator is not leaving out anything important or adding in anything that's not really in there. So it's not really just that easy. So, so the question is, how do we conduct ourselves as a country? Beyond thinking about our language, how do we do that as we govern, as we set laws, as a couple examples that he gives. And he also mentions how it's no question that America, it consists of all different races from the beginning of time to now. That's not even the question. But how do we have a shared anything is like the terms that he used. If as far as what is making us up as Americans. So that's, I guess, the point of the lecture that he is giving. Now, the thing that kind of got me mad at the end was when the gentleman in the audience just started dancing to the speaker giving his answers, showing complete disrespect. So I don't even know why he's up there asking a question if he really doesn't care about the topic or care about anything by the way he's demonstrating his actions that has to do with America.